Across the Kalahari Desert, some of the most dangerous creatures on Earth are being killed. The bodies of black mambas and puff adders keep appearing with their skulls crushed. These were predators that could make even leopards retreat. Researchers entered the field expecting to find a large super predator. But instead, they discovered a creature weighing only 16 kilograms, treating some of nature's most dangerous venom like a sleeping pill. By the end of this video, you will see how Africa's ecosystem is being manipulated by an exception to the rules. The Kalahari Desert in Africa is one of the harshest ecosystems on Earth, home to some of the world's most dangerous cold-blooded killers. At the top of the list is the black mamba, a reptile that can grow up to 3 meters long and move at 19 kilometers per hour across open terrain. Its neurotoxic venom spreads terror across the savanna. Beside it is the puff adder, carrying venom that breaks down cells and dissolves tissue upon contact. Even hungry hyenas or the most experienced leopards keep an absolutely safe distance from these two reptiles. One bite can mean a death sentence. But a few years ago, wildlife researchers in the Kalahari began discovering an unusual phenomenon. GPS trackers implanted under the skin of adult black mambas kept sending abnormal stationary signals. When researchers followed the coordinates, they found the bodies of Africa's most dangerous snakes lying exposed on the sand. Every scene had one thing in common. The snakes' heads had been completely crushed, and their bodies had been partly eaten from head toward tail. The atmosphere around the carcasses was so disturbing that even scavenging vultures did not dare to land. Nighttime infrared cameras finally revealed the culprit. A short, dark, stubborn figure walked straight toward a black mamba, spreading its hood in threat. Ignoring every rule of survival, ignoring the deadly strikes, that dark figure charged forward and snapped the snake's neck. The honey badger was the name behind this massacre. How can a small mammal turn some of nature's deadliest venom into a snack? When a venomous snake bites, its venom works like a key. It travels through the bloodstream and searches for locks in the victim's nervous system, known as nerve receptors. When the key enters the lock, the body's communication system shuts down, leading to paralysis. Toxicology scientists analyzed honey badger blood and discovered a shocking truth. Over countless generations, the honey badger's body had carried out an astonishing change. They developed extremely rare mutations in their nerve receptors. These biological locks had changed shape. When venom from mambas or cobras enters a honey badger's body, the toxic keys float harmlessly through the blood because they cannot find a place to fit. The snake has launched its final weapon, but that weapon has been completely disabled. Even against cell-destroying venom like that of the puff adder, which causes tissue necrosis, the honey badger possesses a remarkable recovery ability. One of the most famous scenes in nature shows a honey badger stealing prey from a puff adder and being bitten directly on the snout. It collapses and falls into a deep coma. Almost any other mammal would die within minutes, but less than 2 hours later, the honey badger's immune system has processed the massive dose of toxins. It gets back up, shakes its fur, and bites off the snake's head to finish the meal it had started. In addition, honey badgers use a highly calculated hunting tactic. They always crush the snake's head first, then eat downward toward the tail. This behavior immediately destroys the victim's venom glands and completely removes the risk of receiving more venom while eating the prize. If you could choose one survival superpower in the wild, resistance to every kind of venom, or bulletproof skin, which would you choose? Comment your answer below. Because the creature we are talking about has both. Internal power is only half the story. The honey badger carries a physical shield that would impress even materials engineers. Its skin is not only extremely thick, but also incredibly loose. Around the neck area, this skin is nearly 1/4 of an inch thick. This loose skin structure creates an insane combat advantage. When a larger predator, such as a hyena, bites into a honey badger's back, the skin slides over the muscle and skeleton. The honey badger simply twists 180 degrees inside its own skin, aiming its jaws and sharp claws straight into the eyes or nose of the animal biting it. Very few animals can keep a honey badger in their mouth for more than 5 seconds before giving up from the pain. The toughness of this skin goes beyond the limits of ordinary biology. It can easily withstand thousands of simultaneous stings from African killer bees when the honey badger breaks into their nests to eat honey. Porcupine quills cannot pierce this protective layer. Even reports from local tribes confirm that handmade arrows or spears sometimes slide off when striking the back of an adult honey badger. They are incredibly durable creatures, ready to push through any obstacle in their path. Many people mistakenly believe honey badgers survive only because of brute endurance and a hot temper. The truth is that they possess spatial intelligence and problem-solving ability comparable to primates. Look at the case of Stoffel, a famous honey badger raised at a conservation center in South Africa. The staff there had to build an enclosure like a maximum security prison because Stoffel kept escaping to fight the lions in the neighboring area. First, they locked the gate with an iron latch. Stoffel used his front paws to open it. They built a smooth brick wall. Stoffel piled stones into a small hill against the wall and climbed over. When all the stones were removed, this honey badger gathered mud and soil, shaped them into large balls, stacked them into a temporary ladder, and escaped again. Even when all natural materials were taken away, he tricked the female honey badger with him into standing close to the wall, then climbed onto her back to get over the fence. This ability to use tools and think logically shows that the honey badger's brain is an extremely sharp calculating machine, always searching for a weakness in its enemy's defenses. In the wild, this intelligence appears through one of nature's strangest cross-species partnerships. Biologists have recorded honey badgers forming an alliance with a small bird called the honey guide. This bird flies overhead and locates bee nests hidden deep inside tree trunks. Then it flies around and calls to attract attention, guiding the honey badger on foot behind it. When they reach the nest, the honey badger uses its steel-hard claws to tear open the trunk and eat the honey and larvae. The small bird waits patiently outside, and its reward is the leftover beeswax, a perfect economic contract between the sky and the ground. If you had armor-like skin, venom resistance, and an intelligent brain, what would you do? For honey badgers, they use all of it to become the most stubborn creature on Earth. The honey badger is one of the few small land carnivores that will actively attack when facing coalitions of male lions. When surrounded by 3 or 4 lions weighing many times more than itself, the honey badger's instinct leaves no room for retreat. It raises the white fur on its back to look larger, releases a harsh growling sound, and charges straight at the nose of the nearest lion. This behavior creates major confusion for large predators. Lions, used to seeing nearly every creature run away from them, suddenly hesitate before a tiny enemy that chooses to counterattack. In a real event filmed at Chobe National Park, one honey badger was surrounded by 6 lionesses. Despite the 1-against-6 odds, the badger kept spinning, lunging, and striking back at any muzzle that dared to move close. That extreme aggression lasted for 15 minutes. They understand the weak points of their enemies. In confrontations with larger animals, honey badgers always target vulnerable areas or the face. Combined with seemingly endless stamina, they create a psychological war of exhaustion. Lions or leopards often realize that the calories they would spend trying to subdue this stubborn 16-kilogram creature far exceed the small amount of meat they would gain. In the end, the kings of the savannah often have no choice but to walk away, leaving the honey badger to continue its journey. The honey badger's unusual survival is not limited to Africa. Its populations stretch from the Middle East all the way to the Indian subcontinent, and in any ecosystem where it appears, its presence changes the structure of native animal behavior. In many rural regions, honey badgers draw so much attention that local people have to reinforce structures with strong concrete. With claws capable of digging through hardwood roots or dry, hardened ground, honey badgers sometimes enter human areas to search for food. Their endurance and lack of fear make local communities stay constantly alert. As research expands across continents, zoologists often compare the honey badger with the wolverine of cold North America. Although the wolverine is significantly larger and strong enough to compete for food with brown bears, the honey badger shows superiority in several specialized defensive mechanisms. Wolverines do not have the same loose, sliding skin structure that helps neutralize bites, and they do not possess an immune system capable of processing large doses of neurotoxic venom the way honey badgers do. Based on these biological traits and diverse adaptive abilities, which creature do you think would have the advantage in a direct survival competition between the African honey badger and the North American wolverine? Share your scientific analysis in the comments below. In an ecosystem governed by the laws of natural elimination, the honey badger is an exception to many ordinary biological principles. It proves one clear fact about evolution: survival advantage does not always depend on enormous body size or the fastest movement speed. Sometimes, the deciding factor is relentless endurance, combined with a defensive system that refuses to retreat from any threat, even when facing much larger predators. Biologists are still studying honey badgers, because their genetic code may contain keys to developing new antivenom medicines that could save human lives in the future. Their evolution has not stopped. As snakes in the Kalahari become more venomous, the honey badger's immune system may also be upgrading into even more refined versions, creating a continuous evolutionary loop designed to neutralize the increasingly complex toxins of local reptiles. The ecological behavior of this animal also offers many deeper reflections from reality. When facing harsh conditions or overwhelming pressure, the best defensive strategy is not always retreat or avoidance. The ability to face pressure directly and remain steady under major disadvantage can sometimes create the highest chance of success. Survival is not only about the physical strength you have, it also depends on how long you can remain resilient when the odds are against you. The natural world always hides highly complex biological mechanisms inside the most unexpected creatures. Scientific data shows that survival ability cannot be judged only by outward size, because one of the toughest animals on Earth may weigh less than 20 kilograms. If you found this scientific analysis useful, press like and subscribe right now. In the next video, we will continue analyzing the profile of another master of camouflage, carrying special biological mechanisms far beyond ordinary knowledge. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next topic.